of the charities that the NFIA Patrons Walk supported was very near and dear to me. Who here has heard of the Gallipoli Medical Research Foundation over at Greenslopes Private Hospital? I know Pat definitely would. Well, they do some fantastic work helping veterans transition. Okay, so to me, in this country, if we see the importance of recycling plastics, I think we can recycle science. All right, and this is what these guys do. They address the big issues, and they use guys like me to help translate their very intelligent words into language that the person they're trying to research can understand. Now, as a result of 6 years of intensive research, $40 million from RSL, we're just about to fly down to Canberra this weekend to launch the Go Beyond program. It is an online tool based to have accessibility to veterans who are transitioning. And you might see us on the news Monday night, and that's like our big thing happening after so many years of hard work. And I still feel like we're at ground zero. And it's going to be one of those tools that it's tailored. It's not just here's a bunch of pamphlets. It asks questions in that unique Defence Force language that finds out exactly the things that you can't articulate yourself, and then it matches you to a tailor-made information. So it could be, oh, you know, I can't sleep. I'm going to go to the doctor and say I can't sleep. The doctor says, here's a bunch of pills. And you spend years being a zombie on all these pills. Been there, done that, okay? But that wasn't my problem. My problem was I didn't have a sense of purpose, okay? And asking those right questions puts me in touch with the sense of purpose suite, which is again tailored to the information that's needed by that particular Defence Force personnel. And I was actually really happy to come here today because I see a lot of similarities between military and the fire industry. Because, you know, we both know that the safety of others depend on how well we do our job. Okay, and to me that's a game changer. You know, more than a square pizza. You know, equal boys, square pizza, game changer. Someone gets it, no? Yeah. Okay, that'll just delete that one. But we both have had to ask the question, heaven forbid, if an attack should happen, have I, A, done everything I can to withstand the attack, and B, can I repel it? And to me, there's no greater motivation or even higher calling than to focus on the safety and well-being of others. And if you can get a team of people around you with that focus, then to me, you're ready to do great things. And it's so good to be in a room full of people who share that sentiment. Now, like Matt said, my name's Tim Thomas. I serve the Australian Special Forces Commandos, not SAS, they get announced up, between 2004-2010 with deployments to East Timor and Afghanistan. There's nothing particularly unusual about my service, however, the government ran a scheme in 2004 to take civilian personnel straight into the Special Forces. It wasn't police academy, citizens on patrol, because keep that VHS tape on the shelf. But we still did all our basic training, then our infantry training, but instead of spending 2 years in a regular infantry battalion, we could, after 9 intensive months of training, attempt the Special Forces selection, 28 days of hell, essentially. Now, fast forward to now, I've spent a large part of the last decade helping other veterans get over that transitional period. And I wasn't qualified in it, I just experienced it and I could articulate it to others. Now, what the last 10 years has taught me is I've got 6 pages of weapons I'm highly proficient in. Probably not as proficient as I was 10 years ago, but I've got 6 pages of weapons. But to me, the most powerful thing on this planet isn't a weapon, it's actually a conversation. And conversations I've seen time and time again just change the axis that the earth spins on for that person. And so a question for everyone today, honest question. Do you think that one conversation can powerfully and permanently impact someone's life? Now think about that for a second, because if that's true, think of the power in that one conversation. Now, before I came here, I asked myself, what's the best thing I could give the good people of Auscoast 5? And, you know, what's the one thing that's going to stay with them for the rest of their lives? Now, I can guarantee you, in 10 years' time, as much as this lovely food's in front of the town, I wish I was sitting down eating some, we're not going to remember this in 10 years' time. Probably not even going to remember my name. But you will remember what I'm about to tell you right now. And it starts with a question. And I need you to work with me on this one. Is there anyone here who wants to achieve something? Just think of it. And when you've got it, raise your hand so I know you're thinking of it. Just a few hands there? Yep, alright. Now, as you're looking at that thing you want to achieve, do you see obstacles in the way of it as well? Okay? Now, I want to give you something very special today, something the Anzacs personally gave me. I had a spiritual experience with the Anzacs in Afghanistan, and I hope it impacts you the way it impacted me. It starts in Afghanistan 2009. Our vehicle convoy was heading into an RPG ambush. What's RPG?
Rocket propelled. Sorry.
Stop it. Rocket propelled grenade. Sorry to put you on the spot. Alright, it's still in there. Which wasn't unusual, okay? We got ambushed quite regularly. So the order came down to put all the heavily armed vehicles to the rear of the convoys. Because it's the rear vehicle is least defended, so it usually always gets attacked. Now our vehicle was just a four-wheel drive with a roof top, no armour. And in the confusion and rush before the ambush, we got cut off and we ended up as a rear vehicle in that convoy. Shit, shit, shit. Everyone in that vehicle knew what was going to happen next and we all thought we were going to die. My vehicle commander, as he got his machine gun ready, looked over his shoulder and said, fellas, if this goes the way I think it will, it's been an honour serving with you. It wasn't a movie. Now, if you think as a soldier, I'd get used to pain. Correction. You think as a soldier, I'd get used to fear. And the fact was I never did get used to fear, but experiencing it so very often gave me a really deep understanding of the mechanics of it. And you really need to get this. Because I found that fear has a goal. Okay? And it's not to scare you. Fear's ultimate goal is to immobilise you, to stop you from even trying. And once you understand that goal, you understand you don't get rid of fear with love, you get rid of fear with action. Taking action dispels fear. Conversely, inaction, not doing what you know you should, grows it. I then took a course of action that has sculpted the rest of my life, and I know it's going to impact yours. I said to myself, Tim, who do you know who's done this before, and how did they get through it? Now the fact was, I didn't know anyone. You know, Australia seemed so far away. You know, the night somehow got darker, and I began to feel very alone. That is, until I started thinking outside my timeline. I realised then I do know someone who's done this before. I know some men who, on a night as dark as this, came face to face with an enemy on their home turf. The original Anzacs. And what do those Anzacs do? Those Anzacs kept moving forward without letting their fear control them. Despite hardships, despite a really shitty situation, despite an enemy intent on killing them. The outside world could not stop those Anzacs seeing the power inside them. Now on Anzac Day we often say lest we forget, but it was like those Anzac diggers were poking me in the chest saying, lest you forget. Lest you forget the power inside you. Lest you forget the power of looking after your mates. It was like the sun coming up at midnight. My whole body felt illuminated. And that beach landing was 100 years ago. But those Anzacs were alive with me in that moment, and I was no longer alone. Can you see how the Anzacs' 1915 actions helped me get over my obstacles in 2009? Me simply knowing someone who'd done it before made all the difference for me in that moment. My actions could then become fearless. I could think and act without fear. Before we hit that ambush, I thought, you know what? They might find my body in 5 minutes' time. But you know what they're not going to find? Magazines full of bullets. I'm using up all ammo on this one. And then I thought, you know what? That's not a bad way to live. Whether I die in 5 minutes or 50 years, I'm using up all my ammunition. You know, my magazines contain simple bullets, but my mind, our minds, contain something so much more powerful than simple bullets. Our minds contain ideas, thoughts, dreams. You know, why die with that awesome stuff still in your head? I got through that night by simply knowing someone who'd done it before. And I need you to see the implications of this. Think of your own obstacles for a second. Ask, how many people could be in my situation right now? How many people could be in my situation at some point in the future? It could even be our own kids or grandkids. If we find a way over our obstacles right now for us, we are going to start building bridges for others. No longer are we just people that see obstacles. We're people who see the joy in building bridges for others. And this should open your eyes right now to thousands of people left and right of you willing you on to make that bridge. And those people are going to appear and go, thank goodness that you did what you did to get over that, because now you've made it so much easier for us. Now, it's a modern world we're in right now. We get flooded by so much information. But I need each of you to imagine, what if the only knowledge a person really needed was to know you?